Hey everyone, this is Richard, and today's the 30th of June. I just did a video highlighting the overnight trade that we were in, and in that video I mentioned that the day trade longs could trigger, and sure enough they did. So they both bought, and so right now we're long at around 44.76. Now this could be an interesting day because there's a good chance that the Emerald long is going to trigger in a couple minutes, actually about a minute. And so we'll see, but if it does, then we could be in 3 S&P contracts in that Elite Trader account. And when it does that though, you know, it will have a pretty tight stop. Right now the stop is at 44.69 and a quarter. And so that ends up being about a $350 to $400 stop on the day trade longs. And when the Emerald long triggers, it probably will use a similar stop. So usually it'll use a bit bigger stop, but when the day trade longs trigger, it kind of does a similar stop. And so let's just see what happens though. I'm not sure if it'll even get in. I think it will though. And so yeah, so once it does though, if it does, then I'll just kind of let the video run and we'll see how the day goes. But it's a kind of day where it could be a pretty big day for us. It could also, I mean, if all of these get stopped out, then they'll really just cut into the gains that we had on the overnight trade. And there it is. So yeah, it looks like it did get, it did do the buy. So let me zoom in on the Emerald long chart just so you can see it. And so what this means, by the way, is that the Emerald short is not going to trigger. But yeah, so we're in that. Looks like the stop on that one is 44.69 and a quarter as well, I believe. And so, yeah, and so let's just see what happens throughout the day. And hopefully we don't get stopped out of these, but if we do, that's okay. We still were up a decent amount on the overnight one and still have a profitable day. But let's see what happens. I'll stop talking and let the camera run. Now real quick, I'll just do the risk disclosure. So keep in mind that past performance is not indicative of future performance, and trading futures and options involves substantial risk of loss. It's not appropriate for all investors. And remember, I'm not a CTA, I'm what's called a third-party developer. So I develop the algorithms and offer them under what they call a letter of direction. So as this is running, and I've sped it up a bit in the editing, but as this is running, just remember that what you're looking at here is the Elite Trader, and we offer a few different systems, but these are fully automated algorithmic trading systems. They're traded under by the auto execution brokers, and so there really is no experience needed. We all see the same trades. The only thing that you control is how many contracts you want to trade or how many units, and then of course which strategies you trade. Now when you start though, you tell the broker which ones, and then they go ahead and auto execute for you. Now the way the broker does the trades is, and they trade it with best efforts, but what happens is they have TradeStation loaded, and so when TradeStation generates a signal, it gets sent to all the different accounts, and it's one big kind of block order buy that occurs, and so we all get the same fills. So what I'm getting at is there's nothing to download, there's no email that you get. Now you are able to follow along with the Gain iBroker app, and it'll give you a push notification when we get into a trade, and so it works out pretty well. But I'll stop talking, we'll let it run here. Hey everybody, wanted to just give a quick update. So we're still in the day trade long V1, that's this guy right here. We're also in the V2, which is right here, and then as you saw, the Emerald long did also trigger right here. As it stands right now, the Emerald long still thinks that the market is in a potentially strong up state, and so it'll stay in it. Now what you'll see is if you get the forward slash on this top chart, kind of like you do on these ones, you get that forward slash, then that'll signify that the algorithm doesn't think we're in a strong up anymore. And honestly, I mean, if we keep going trading around these levels, eventually it will determine that. It might still think we're in a weak up though, but as soon as it says no more strong up, that's when this algorithm will look to get out. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in the next, I'm not sure, but in the next few, maybe 30 minutes, I think it might happen, depending. Now, if we hit new highs, then it probably won't, but at some point it does say, okay, this is more like a week up if we're not hitting new highs. Now, so when it does though, it'll look to get out on kind of as soon as it can on some kind of a pop usually. All right, so the other algos though, the day trade long V1 and V2, those will stay valid. Those will continue to trade as they are. The V2, if we get a little bit more of a move higher, then eventually that stop will move to break even. But as it stands right now, we just have the two stops working, and then I guess there are two targets as well, but those are kind of super optimistic targets. One of them would be for the V2 day trade. The other one is, I believe, for the Emerald Long. And so that's what those are for that you see over here. But I'll stop talking. We'll let it run and just see how the day goes. Okay, looks like we just got out of the Emerald Long. So you can see it there on the chart. Now, we're still in the day trades, though. And you can kind of see what happened there. We got the forward slash, and then we had a little bit of a pop, so it decided to just get out of the market now. Now, it's always weird when this happens because it's true that we're in the day trade long V1 and V2. And so someone might say, well, don't you think the market's going higher? Why would you get out of that one? The reason why is, again, these are all independent algos. They trade individually. And it's really the way that diversification works, is that you offset some of the potential gains and losses. And so what you get out of it is a more normalized kind of equity curve and hopefully a smaller drawdown as different algos are doing different things. Now, it would have been nice for sure if we would have just kept trending higher like we did a couple days ago. I mean, obviously you can do the math. This would have been a huge day if that happened, because we would have been in 3 of those. If each one was up $1,500, I mean, that's a $4,500 day. Add to that, this trade here, and that's a pretty good day. I mean, that'd be like a $6,000 day. So almost 20% on the elite trader. So that's the kind of home run trades that we're trying to go for at times. But as it stands now, we're still in the day trade longs, V1 and V2. And so let's just see how the day develops. I don't know if it's going to keep rallying and hit new highs or if it's going to reverse, but let's just see what happens. I'll go ahead and be quiet and just let the video run. Okay, so at this point, I'm doing the editing and I sped the video up quite a bit just so that we could get towards the end. But notice how, again, we are in 2 trades right now. The Emerald Long got out with a nice gain of about $300. The Geronimo ES also got out with a gain of about $1,600, and that's the one that I did that other video on. But here we see it finally get out of the day trades. And so what you see is that we got in on these on 44.76. We got out at 44.88. So we made about 8 points per day trade. And remember, we're trading 2 of them. And so that's a total of 16 points, which is about $800. So on the day trade V1 and V2, we did really well at about $800. Now, when you put them all together, we had a total of 4 trades today on the Elite Trader. And so the total gains were $300 from the Emerald Long, $1,630 from the Geronimo ES, that was the trade in the morning, $800 from the 2 day trades, and so that gives us a total of $2,730 now, and that's per unit traded. So if somebody was trading a $35,000 account, and so that's a gain of about 7.8%. And so, a really good day. It was a really great way to close out the month. If you have any questions, though, why don't you reach out to me? Shoot me an email at richard@AlgorithmicTrading.net. You can fill out one of the forms on the website, and I'd be happy to do a demo with you and kind of walk you through the different trades that we've had over the last few months and answer any questions you might have. Also, remember, there are different packages that we offer. The Elite Trader is the most popular one. That's the one that trades all 5 of these strategies. But there is a Smart Pivot 3, 2, and 1. There's the Paladin, the Noble, which are kind of options algos. There's the Trader Plus, and you can see all that on the website. But if you're confused on which one to potentially look at, I usually tell people the Elite Trader is a good one to just sort of take a look at if you have the 35K required on that one. And if you don't on that, then you can kind of look at the Trader Plus, which requires 25K. And if you only have about 10K, you could look at the basic package, which really just trades the day trade long V2, which is the trade in the bottom right there. And so that one did have a $400 gain. So on a $10,000 unit size, that's about a 4% gain that it had. So it because the unit size is really small on that one, the dollar gains end up being pretty big percentages potentially. But thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.